And we are back, roughly, where we left off. Except this time we're actually gonna win. This run... First, I'll apologize for last run. I should have realized that I needed to... Well, I forgot. Straight up forgot to stay near the door. I kind of determined that was where I needed to be heading quite early, but then I just forgot to be there when it opened. I also just assumed that when Big Man Dan escaped, that would be all. Should have thought that maybe that wouldn't be the case. This time it went quite a lot more smoothly. It turns out Dietrich can summon ghosts, which I didn't know, but he had an item in his inventory he could use to throw a ghost. So we threw some ghosts. Every turn there's a chance for the ghost to go away. So the first ghost we threw, we never got to move. He just disappeared immediately. The second ghost, we got to fire with once, and then instead of disappearing, it turned hostile. But it's just been stood here. This is the ghost, his health bar, and it was just fighting the boss, and the boss was trading shots with it. And the ghost seemed to be winning, to be honest. And that pretty much rendered the entire thing incredibly easy. So we just walked out while the ghost minigun man battle was going on. Iga rises from a corpse-strewn perch at the approach. From the look on her face, it's obvious that she's already sized up the situation. I knew this was going to happen. I fucking knew it. We can talk about this later. For now, we need to bug out. Tell me something I don't know. Iga slaps the side of the van. Pile in, people, and Big Man down. When we get back to the cruise bazaar, we're going to have a little talk. Seems that was the end of the mission. Kreuzberg, home to nearly 500,000 people and, until very recently, Monica Schaefer. Once a melting pot of cultural diversity, it's now a chaotic mess of wealth and poverty, crime and commerce, anarchy and control. It's also home to your own little slice of Berlin, a neighbourhood that the locals call the Cruise Bazaar, a safe port in the eye of a storm. The ride back to the Cruise Bazaar is quiet. No one is in a talking mood. As the van veers past potholes and garbage piles, the glare of the streetlights and neon signs plays across your window, painting the world in a kaleidoscope of garish colours. Soon, the van rounds a corner and skids to a halt in a narrow, crumbling alley. This is as far as Berlin's chaotic streets will take you. Your team wordlessly debarks the vehicle and climbs down into a disused section of the U-Bahn's tunnel system. A well-kept secret, providing your team safe passage into the Cruise Bazaar. Your safe house waits on the other side. Figured I might as well read those out while it's loading. I did expect clicking the continue button to advance the game, though. Okay. Here we are. It sucks here. This text that the characters are having now is the one I was worried would be too small. And I slowed it down a little bit. Should probably slow it down more so I have a fighting chance of reading it out. We're no longer on the fastest text speed. We're down at fast. You step inside, and the squalor of the disused U-Bahn tunnel gives way to the warmth of your safe house. A man waits inside, silhouetted against the dim fluorescent lighting. Something bad has happened, hasn't it? He steps forward, revealing a pale and expressionless face, light glinting off steel-rimmed glasses. Paul Amsel, your team's fixer and landlord. Part dealmaker, part information broker, one of the most well-connected men in Berlin. His eyes sweep across the team as he takes it all in. The grim faces, the hard stares, Iga's fury, Monica's absence. I had a feeling. How did she... His face has gone ashen. He swallows, takes a moment to chew on the words before spitting them out. How did it happen? We'll spare him the more violent details. Something in the vault security system got her while she was jacked in. It was over in an instant. I've seen Monica hit black icy before. That would be black ice, wouldn't it? So, I got it. This was something worse. Glory nods, her motions robotic and spare. Monica died of a biofeedback-induced stroke. That's right. Eager thrusts a gloved finger into your chest. And this idiot stood by and let it happen. Big Man Dan's not. He's not a big angry boy. He's quite a calm lad. But he's not gonna take. He's not gonna let people push him around. That's bullshit, Eager. You weren't even in the room. No, I wasn't there. And that's exactly the problem. If I'd been in your place, Monica would still be alive and with us. Instead, I left her with you. And now my friend is a corpse in a basement. Look, Eager, Big Man Dan's right. You weren't stuck in the basement with us. You don't know how things went down there. So do us all a favor and shut it down, okay? Shut it down? Fuck that. Eager turns to face Dietrich. She towers over him, but he stands his ground. I respect you, Dietrich. You know that. But you don't have my training. None of you have. Monica was good. She was the best, right? But she was also overconfident. She treated the job like it was a game. Do that long enough, you're gonna get burned. Eager turns her focus back to you. If you'd been paying attention, you'd have figured out all of this on your own by now. You'd have known that Monica needed watching as much as that door. Enough, Eager. Amsel's voice is hoarse, his expression blank. Enough. Eager pushes ahead, heedless of the interruption. Her voice remains measured, but there's a fire in her eyes. How many seconds passed between Monica's first convulsion and her plug getting pulled? 4? 5? Do you know how much damage biofeedback can do to a Decker's brain in 5 seconds? I don't. You don't have to answer that. Of course you know. Monica died while you stood there and watched. This is all your That is enough. Amsel's voice comes out in a roar, and his fist smashes down on the desk behind him. Eager, you and Big Man Dan can have it out later, but I've had enough. We need to talk action. Our client sent you into something much bigger than he'd led us to believe. I want to know why. Right there with you. This was supposed to be a milk run. Payback isn't the only reason why we need to find him. We saw something back there. Something that we weren't supposed to see. It's fair to assume that we're all still in danger. He pauses, rubs his temples. Agreed. And to neutralize that danger, we need to know who we're dealing with. Let us review the events that transpired tonight. The smallest detail could be important, so hold nothing back. I think it's fair to say the estate was just a front for whatever was going on in the basement. There was definitely an orc in military-grade armor. Monica said something. We'll hold on to that one. Yeah, I think we need to work out what happened in the basement. And why they got military-grade tech, but we can only pick one. I didn't read it out again, sorry folks. Amsel nods. That much is clear. It wasn't a minor enterprise either. That facility took serious funds to build. And time. There was more to it than we saw. Places like that don't spring up overnight. And all in secret. The owners, whoever they may be, were none too pleased by your escape, I'm sure. What else did you find? Okay, we get to do all three. After everything went to hell, we were confronted by an orc in military-grade armor. He appeared to be the head of security. That is not much to go on. Do any details about this orc come to mind? Any distinguishing features that I could look into? He was an older guy, for one. From the sound of his voice, I'm guessing mid to late 40s. Pretty old for an orc. I have no idea. And he'd had skin grafts. Most of his face looked like replacement material. If the grafts came from a legitimate hospital, there may be medical records. That is something. I'll see what I can find out. Did you know anything else during the run that may be of value? Monica lived long enough to say a name. Fierschwinge. She fought hard to tell us, it must be important. Amsel seems taken aback. He pauses for a moment before responding. The Firewing. This is unexpected. You'll have to forgive me, that brings back many unpleasant memories. Glory raises an eyebrow. The Firewing. The most terrible of the great dragons. There are those who would disagree, but they never experience the terror of living in her shadow. He glances at Glory. You are far too young to remember her, of course, but for Germans of my generation, the name Fürschwinge is synonymous with chaos, destruction, and death. The dragons of today are soul creatures, full of patience and guile. Fürschwinge was not. After her awakening, she went on a 4-month rampage that claimed tens of thousands of lives. Amstel takes a deep breath, slowly releases it. There's a haunted look in his eyes. Those were dark days. Countless men, women, and children were slaughtered. Roasted alive in their homes by a creature of legend. No hope for salvation, and no end in sight. It was a horror that you cannot begin to understand. What stopped her? I can't imagine that a rampaging dragon would just go away on its own. Eventually, the Firewing was brought down by a man named Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Well, with the help of the Luftwaffe, of course. But it was experimental weapons designed by Dr. Vauclair that finally pierced her hide. She fell in a hail of bullets and rocket fire, crashed down in the radioactive wasteland of the SOX. The event was called the Dragonfall. Safe at last from the dragon's wrath, Germany celebrated Vauclair as a hero. Our own Siegfried, a modern-day dragon slayer. My own family practically worshipped the man. If the Dragonfall was as important as an event as you make it out to be, I'm surprised I've never heard of it. Those early years of the Awakening were traumatic, Ego. Not just on a national level, but on a global scale. New species of awakened animals were being discovered daily. Within 2 years of the Dragonfall, the active use of magic had returned to the world. A new source of terror for a bewildered public. And in 2021, the sudden emergence of orcs and trolls gave rise to yet another wave of global panic. Bloody hell. Not another one. Look forward to that, folks. In light of such turmoil, is it any surprise that Dr. Vauclair and the Firewing were forgotten? Dragons were yesterday's news. He rubs his temples. Again, all of this happened decades ago. To the best of my knowledge, the story of Fürschwinge is a bit of historical trivia, and nothing more. Alright. So Monica spent her dying breath trying to tell us about a long-dead dragon. Iga sweeps her eyes across the group, searching for a glimmer of insight. Finally, she gives up. Any idea as to why? Amsel's voice trembles with frustration. No. It doesn't make any more sense to me than it does to you. The Dragonfall's ancient history. Fürschwinge has been dead and gone 42 years. But there's only one thing I do know. Whatever Monica saw, whatever she was trying to tell us, it was important. He visibly struggles to calm himself, takes a deep breath, then slowly releases it. I will look into this, and I will find answers. In the meantime, did you turn up anything else of value? I did mean to steal the pot, but I forgot. That's not much. Amsel nods. His face is drawn and haggard. It is thin, I agree. A basement, a middle-aged orc with skin grafts, and a long-forgotten world event. Okay, all of this is the same. Whoever sent us knew what we were walking... Sorry about that. Whoever sent us knew what we were walking into. We were set up. That's obvious. But why? Paul's face reddens. I warned her. I told her not to take this run, but she assured me it would be a cakewalk. You didn't bring it to her. No, she set up this whole thing herself. Monica was approached recently by a man who calls himself Green Winters. He used to be a prominent activist in the F-state political scene. I never much liked the man, and I certainly never trusted him. But Monica, she'd do anything for her cause. Anything for the Flux state, he sighs. Winters swore that the data he was after was crucial to ensuring the future stability of the Flux. And that was all it took. Sounds like Green Winters is our best lead, then. Yes, most definitely. It is clear that Green Winters has involved us in something much larger than he'd led Monica to believe. When he finds out what happened on the run, he's probably going to rabbit. We need to chase him down before this happens. How do we find the guy? There's a man here in the cruise bazaar, a Turk named Altug. I'm sorry if I butcher this. Altug Barak. Bloody hell. Baragaza. He owns a little psychaf shop just down the way called Cafe Sezva. The man's also a purveyor of information. I can't say the English words now. This man is also a purveyor of information. I've done business with him from time to time. And you think he'd know something about Green Winters? Amsel nods. When I discovered Monica's renewed association with this Green Winters, I contacted Altug. One of his people has been keeping tabs on Winters ever since. That actually messed me up. I'm going to need to take a drink. Jeez. As I said, I did not trust that man. For good reason, it'd seem. I'll talk to Altug and see what he knows about Green Winters. Very well. Tell him I sent you. I'll do what I can to dig into the information that you've uncovered already, sparse though it may be. We have gained karma to misspend on our character. Would that be this button? Absolutely it would. I feel like we do need to be better at punching to be able to contribute in the fights. Just give me a second, I'm gonna cough. I just turned the mic off for a second. Sorry about that. We could do quickness. What if we were fast? Ooh, we do want that though. Okay, we're gonna go with strength now, and then we're gonna get another layer of unarmed, which I guess that's an ability to take away 2 armor. That's pretty handy. The armor's probably what's stopping our punches from doing full damage. Not quite what we're after. You have to click twice, I believe. There we go. We'll be sure to get Big Man down some strength or some intelligence or charisma or something else afterwards. We're just going to make him a little bit more effective. Let's see what Dietrich has to say. Dietrich turns his head at your approach. His aging face is traced with a network of faint scars, the legacy of too many fights over too many years. While he still retains a degree of strength and vigor, it's obvious that the shaman you see today is a shadow of his former self. Despite all of this, there's still an aura of power surrounding this man. He raises a bottle, offering it to you. Big Man Dan, welcome. I've got a bottle of schnapps that needs drinking, and we've got a fallen comrade to drink to. To Monica Prost. The liquor in the bottle is crystal clear, and as you raise it, you catch an intoxicating whiff of cloves and caramel. It tastes of sweet corn and walnuts, with a lingering aftertaste of buttery toffee. You swallow a swig, then return the bottle to Dietrich's outstretched hand. He takes a long pull on the bottle and locks eyes with you. Let me ask you a question, Big Man Dan. What made you choose to come to Berlin? I'd rather not talk about it. I can appreciate that, boss. Honestly, I can. All the same, if you're going to be calling the shots from this point on, I need to know what kind of man you are. What kind of man's Big Man Dan? This is an important discussion we're having. He plays his cards close to his chest as Big Man Dan. He's a shrewd figure. It was time for a change. That's all. Oh, come on, boss. Nobody moves to Berlin without a good reason. Somebody does. You're looking at him. Dietrich shakes his head at you, a wry smile on his face. Alright, friend. You want to play Mr. Mysterious, you go right ahead. I mean, it's bullshit, and it implies that you don't trust me. But if you want to be that way, I can't stop you. Do we tell... I don't know. I don't think Big Man Dan likes being guilted like this. Don't take it personally. I just don't want to talk about it. Let's chat about something else, eh? Sure, boss. Would you be willing to tell me a bit about Monica? I know that you two had history, but I don't know much more than that. I'll never get to ask her myself, not after tonight. What do you want to know? Monica was my friend. I cared about her. Dietrich shrugs. I don't know, I guess I just want to get to know her better. There were some areas of her life that have always been a mystery, and if you could shed any light on them, I'd be appreciative. I can respect that. So what was the deal between the two of you? Don't leave me in suspense. We were friends. Right there with you. I'm privileged to say so. She was one of the best women I've ever known. Anyway, I've taken enough of your time. That's really? And the bottle's almost empty. Thanks for taking the time to talk. For what it's worth, I'm happy you're here with us. Dietrich takes a final pull of the bottle, then tips it forward, pouring the rest on the ground. Rest in peace, Monica. We'll miss you, girl. Let's talk to the dog next. As you start towards the safe house door, a large four-legged form, I thought that were a strange sentence. A large four-legged form steps around the corner. Dante, Monica's dog, an enormous mongrel of indeterminate breed. My kind of dog. A low whimper emerges as he enters the room, head hanging low. Oh shit, Dante. Dietrich shakes his head. Don't worry, boy. We'll look after you. At the sight of Monica's dog, Amsel's eyes well up. He inhales, but he can't quite catch his breath. He started whimpering about an hour ago. Turned into a full-blown howl. Wouldn't stop. Kept. He closes his eyes. That's when I realized something bad had happened. Looking down into those huge brown eyes, you see intelligence and sadness. Oh. He lets out a small whine and rubs his head against you. Scratch Dante. Give him a treat. Is that appropriate time? I mean, it's always an appropriate time to give a dog a treat. Well, scratch him behind the ears. Scratch Dante behind the ears. Dante leans into your leg and looks up mournfully, pressing his ribs against your leg. I guess the dog's going with you, Big Man Dan. Amsel takes a ragged breath and releases it. Then a slow, melancholy smile plays across his face. Well, perhaps a part of Monica lives on in Dante. Return to the safe house when you're finished with Altuk. Mein Freund, with a little luck, he can help us locate Green Winters. And we can get to the bottom of this. He stares at the floor. And now, I think we should all take a moment. His lips tighten. For Monica. Okay. I could have talked to him again, but I don't think I need to. There's a couple more characters here. We'll do this and then we'll end the video. Do want to talk to everyone after that heist. We are playing an RPG. We're having fun. We're reading things. If you're not going to read the dialogue, what are you doing? Let me put the AK away. We don't need it. Rubbish. Useless it is. We fired it once and it missed. Broken that gun is. Let's talk to Ego. We're not a big fan of Ego, but Ego glares at you, and you can taste the bile in her stare. She clearly still blames you for Monica's death. Something I can do for you, fearless leader? You're wrong about me, Ego. I intend to prove that to you. She stares at you for a moment, then looks away. Best of luck with that, Big Man Dan. Now please, leave me alone. As you wish. Glory's probably not going to have much to say either. Glory's beautiful, in a waifish sort of way. Her features are almost elvish in their delicacy. But there's something cold about her that you find slightly unsettling. It's probably something to do with using Wolverine claws to separate men's skin from their bodies. What's more upsetting is her chrome. Glory's rocking a heavy load out of cyberware, from head to toe. She looks to be composed of more of plastic and metal than she is of skin and bone. It's a hell of a rig. In the shadows, individuals such as this are anything but uncommon. But Glory's cyberware's first generation, all of it. Bulky, invasive, practically museum pieces. This chrome was obsolete well before she was born. Big man down. Glory shifts her gaze to you, but her expression is as cool and placid as always. Can I help you? Let's see how she's holding up. Hey, Glory, how are you holding up? Don't worry about me. I'm solid. You sure? You look like you're a million miles away. I'll be with you when it counts. Right now it doesn't. I was right to think we wouldn't get much out of Glory. I'll talk to you later. She shrugs. Suit yourself. We'll head down here and just make sure there's no one else waiting to talk to us, and then I think that's going to be it for this part. Yeah, before we head out onto the streets. Oh, the dog's coming with us! Is he in the team? Does he have numbers and things? Can we pet him? Dog! Oh no, he only has 10 health. We must protect this good boy. Okay, that's all for now. See you next time, folks. I'm quite enjoying this. This is fun. This is going to be the last one for tonight, though, because I've been talking non-stop for like an hour. See you next time, folks. Goodbye.